Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I know there's a question there somewhere. Senator Graham.
Well, thank you. Here's my question. Does the current strategy in Iraq and Syria have any chance to succeed?
Well, Senator, that's really been the basis of our testimony. And
I didn't hear it, so just say no.
I know, but we'll gladly say it again.
Oh, yeah, say it again.
And respect you asking the question, quite frankly. The answer is no.
Does everybody agree the answer is no? Does everybody agree that in the current configuration that the problems in Iraq and Syria present a direct threat to the homeland?
Yes.
Yes.
I had a conversation with the CIA director yesterday who echoed that sentiment. So the average American needs to understand that failure in Iraq and Syria is putting the homeland at risk because so many foreign fighters are flowing in and they have the ability potentially to hit us here at home. Is that all correct?
Yes.
And I think, General Keane, you described this strategy as not enough. Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. It's far from it, and we all collectively laid out some details to support that.
Do you see any way to defeat ISIL in Syria without a substantial Arab army involved?
I don't know how you get there. I mean, obviously, if we deployed tens of thousands of troops ourselves, we could defeat ISIS in Syria. I don't think anybody here would recommend such an event. I think the people who have vested interest there should be involved, and I think they would get involved. I mean, you know that they've said as much, but we have to do something to change the momentum of the Assad regime.
Dr. Kagan, is it fair to say that no Arab army is going into Syria unless part of one of the objectives is to take Assad down?
Absolutely, Senator. That's going to be a precondition for...
Because they're not going to just fight ISIL and leave Assad in power, therefore giving the place to Syria. Is that correct?
On the contrary.
I mean, Iran.
On the contrary, sir, what we're seeing, I think, is increasing levels of support of various varieties to Jabhat al-Nusra as an alternative to the...
So I want people to understand that our strategy is to empower a radical Islamic Sunni group to fight Assad rather than having an army on the ground that made up of allies. Is that fairly accurate? We're choosing to work with terrorists, or somebody's... the Arabs are choosing to work with terrorists because there's a vacuum created by us.
I think some people are choosing to work with terrorists because of the vacuum that we have created. I don't think that's the intent of our policy.
No, but that's the effect of the policy.
Yeah, I believe it is, yes.
So we find ourselves where our allies in the region are supporting a terrorist group as a last resort proposition because America is AWOL. Colonel Harvey, at the end of the day, do you see a scenario of dislodging ISIL, taking Assad out that doesn't require sustained commitment by the world to put Syria back together?
No, I do not see.
We're talking years and billions of dollars.
I believe so, sir, yes.
All right. Sir, I don't want to butcher your last name. If this war keeps going on the way it is a year from now, do you worry about Jordan and Lebanon being affected?
I do, especially Jordan, a country I've lived in and studied as a Fulbright scholar. We are doing important things to help strengthen that government, but it is feeling the force of not only...
If we lost the king of Jordan, we'd be losing one of the most trustworthy allies in the region. Is that correct?
Correct.
I was told yesterday that there are more Syrian children in elementary school in Lebanon than Lebanese children. Does that surprise anybody?
It doesn't surprise me, but it should shock all of us.
Well, it should shock everybody. I've just made a statement that there are more kids in elementary school in Lebanon from Syria than Lebanese kids. So if this war continues in its current fashion, it will create unending chaos in the Mideast that will change the map for generations to come. Do you all agree with that?
Yes.
Yes.
And there is no way to get Iraq right until you deal with Syria in a responsible manner. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Correct.
And Iran is all in when it comes to Syria. Assad wouldn't last 15 minutes without Iran's help. Do you agree?
It's been critical to sustaining the Assad regime.
Do you agree that if we gave Iranians, say, $50 billion as a signing bonus for their nuclear program, it's highly likely that some of that money would go to Assad?
And to the rest of his proxies that are seeking domination of the Middle East.
Have you seen anything to suggest the Iranians are changing their behavior for the better when it comes to the region?
On the contrary, sir, they're becoming more aggressive in many facets.
Would you say they're the most aggressive they've been in modern times?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Would you say that the Iranians are directly responsible for toppling a pro-American government in Yemen by supporting the Houthis?
They contributed to it, for sure.
Would you agree with me that now that we've lost our eyes and ears in Yemen, Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula is growing as a threat to the homeland?
Not
Yes.
only that, but ISIS is also gaining position in Yemen.
Do you agree with me that Syria is now a perfect forum to launch an attack from the United States because there are so many foreign fighters with Western passports?
Yes.
Do you agree with me that the Shia militia on the ground in Iraq are controlled by the Iranians?
Yes.
Do you agree with me that we're doing permanent damage to the ability of Iraq to reconstruct if we allow the Shia militia to continue to have dominance on the battlefield?
Yes.
Do you see any good thing coming from this strategy being continued?
No.
No, sir.
It's destined to fail.
And there is a better way, we just have to choose that way.
Correct, sir.
Correct.
There is a better way, do you all agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Any more? Senator Cruz.